What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Wrestling Radar podcast here on Ram Nation Radio. I am your host, Ryan Moderano. Joining me this week and every week moving forward is my brother, Nick Moderano. Nick, how you doing?
Feels good to be here. Can't wait to be here every single week on the Wrestling Radar.
Well, if you guys have followed us on Instagram, on Twitter, subscribed to us on YouTube, you'll know what we're all about by now. Like what we're into and how, we vlog, we go on all these wrestling trips. We do all these cool stuff, post all these cool pictures on Instagram. But now you get to hear from us, actually, on this podcast. We're introducing something new here. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in on the Ram Nation Radio app and on Facebook Live. It's really cool to get this thing up and running finally. So we're on for an hour, 5:15 to 6:15 here on Ram Nation Radio, as always. So let's just start off with some Raw and SmackDown talk, Nick, from this past week.
Do we have to talk about Raw?
Unfortunately, we do. I know it's a chore to talk about it, not only to sit through it, but to talk about it as well.
Yeah, I mean, you got to pull what you can from it. You got to find the good in it because, if you just complain about everything, you're not going to enjoy it. So
yeah, I don't want to sound like, that person that just comes on here week after week and is bitter and complains about the product and puts it down in every possible way. But, I mean, you have to just be realistic at this point. I mean, it's bad.
Yeah, and there's no reason for it to be bad, which is the biggest problem. What I think everybody's really mad about is that they got the guys, they got some of the best wrestlers in the world, and they're putting on a product that's just stale and repetitive, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, they have the most incredibly talented roster, the deepest roster that I've seen them have in quite some time, with the amount of talent from the independents coming up from NXT. It's just unbelievable. They just can't put it together. The creative team just flat out sucks, let's put it that way. They're just not creative at all, and it results in a horrible 3 hours.
And speaking of not being creative, let's talk about this Shield versus Braun Strowman and Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler feud, because, man, it's getting rough to watch. It really is.
That's literally been going on for weeks now, and I am so sick of it already, and I don't think it's going to end anytime soon with the rumors of a possible TLC match between those two teams at the December pay-per-view TLC. But these guys constantly interacting with each other on Raw, it's getting a little stale.
Especially, too, when they keep on having the same matches. You had this week, I believe it was Drew versus Seth, and Dolph versus Roman, which I feel like we've seen before, and it just doesn't make sense. I mean...
Yeah, again, and then watch, next week they'll flip-flop it again. Then you'll have, you'll have Dean versus, Dolph or whatever. You'll have Seth versus Drew again. Like, it's just the same thing week after week. It seems like with no ending in sight.
And I feel like my biggest thing I have with it that I don't like is they're wasting 3 titles. They got the tag titles on Dolph and Drew, and then they got the Intercontinental on Seth Rollins, and the Universal on Roman, and they're not even part. The titles aren't even part of the storyline.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's the thing that's frustrating too. It's like those titles should be on guys that aren't in stories right now, because the mid-card on Raw is just terrible, and that's where the problem lies. It's like the opening is usually good, the ending could be good, the middle is just not good. And if you have like the tag team titles being defended, or you have the tag champs in action, you have the Intercontinental champ in action, and also have the top stars like Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, Dolph Ziggler, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins. Like, if you still have those guys, like, that could be a good show then, but they just put it all together, and it doesn't work.
They put all their chips on the table in one feud, and it's a shame because, like I said, you guys got guys like Finn Balor who are just, like, honestly, until he appeared on the screen for the graphic, I didn't even think of him. Wasn't even a thought that he wasn't on Raw, which is a shame because Finn Balor is really a great wrestler, great entertainer,
Outstanding, and he's just got nothing. But let's just talk about a couple of things that happened on Raw that I guess meant something.
I mean, it's hard to find them, but, obviously you got the Super Showdown coming up, got a lot of those feuds going on. But one thing I wanted to touch on was, so Raw's tag team division, it's here. It's here, it could be here. But, like, there's no point. We're having tag team matches for no titles. No one contendership, no nothing. I mean...
Oh, the tag team division on Raw is just putrid. The way they handle it, the way they're handling guys like AOP, it's just... It's terrible. I mean, the fact that the tag titles were on the B team for as long as they were is just a joke. Now, I was happy to see them pull the titles off of them and put it on Drew and Dolph. They're outstanding. But what about guys like the Revival too, who are outstanding
Yeah.
and haven't gotten anything?
Or
They
even-
should be the next tag champs.
Or even I'll throwing at you that honestly it's a pairing I didn't think it was a little weird at first, but how about Chad Gable and Bobby Roode?
Yeah, honestly, I mean, yeah, I would dig that. Honestly, anything.
I think they're a good mix together.
Yeah, I mean, certainly better than the B team. Let's put it
Definitely.
that way. So, yeah, I mean, it could be good, but it's just not there yet. It's just got to get better, plain and simple. It's just not, Drew and Dolph are just carrying them around as a prop, basically, during this whole entire feud, and it's meaningless. So I don't know how they're going to take the titles off of them, but I hope they do if that rumored TLC match in December comes to fruition, because you just can't have all these titles on all these guys anymore.
Yeah, especially now. That's why their pay-per-views are lacking, and it's why mostly their ratings are going down. I keep reading that they're drawing lower and lower ratings. Yeah, you can say all you want about Monday Night Football. That's not going to draw down 300,000 people in the last hour.
Yeah, Monday Night Football is a reason why the ratings are low, but it's not the main reason why the show is as low as it is. It's just because the show is not good, plain and simple. But something that happened on Raw, which was very interesting, was the Elias and Kevin Owens segment.
Yeah.
I mean, these two together, I'm really starting to dig it.
It's one of those weird pairings where it's like I said, you didn't at first. You're like, wait, what? But then I don't know. Like I said, yeah, because Kevin Owens works with anybody. I feel like you put him with anybody, any superstar, and he'll make everything. You saw that when they paired him with Chris Jericho. So he can do anything like that. And how about the shot at Seattle and the Supersonics?
Yeah, well, that's what triggered this whole thing. So basically, if you're unfamiliar with sports, the Seattle Supersonics were a basketball team in Seattle years and years and years ago, beloved in Seattle. They moved to Oklahoma City, became the Oklahoma City Thunder, so they're no more. And Elias threw out a shot at the crowd saying, no wonder why they left, no wonder why you don't deserve a basketball team here or whatever. And apparently they take that very, very serious. These boos went on for 7 minutes. I believe it was 7 straight minutes, because I saw the time on Twitter. Now, I knew somebody would clock it, go back on the DVR and clock it, but it wouldn't stop. I mean, I wasn't watching this live, I'll admit, but I had to go back because my Twitter feed just blew up from this. And obviously I knew Raw wasn't newsworthy or buzzworthy for the first 2 hours of the show. So I said, all right, well, let's see, what's going on in the last hour. And then when I saw that, I mean, everybody was talking about it. I was just like, wow, I got to go back and check this out. So I went back on the DVR, checked it out. It just didn't stop.
I mean, even ESPN picked on it.
Yeah.
And when ESPN start posting, WWE videos, something big happened.
That was massive heat. And now, it's not anything new. Elias insults the crowd every week. Every place that they're at, he does it. But this one really triggered them. And I don't know if that whole entire crowd just played into it, just wanted to make themselves known like that, or if they really take it that serious.
I mean, I've known that the efforts to get this basketball team back to Seattle have been going on for a while, so it's something that they miss. I mean, I can't imagine losing any of our sports teams.
Yeah,
so,
I know. I mean, it was just unbelievable, and obviously, too, Elias doesn't actually mean that. He's just trying to get heat. It worked, and now, from here on out, I think this is going to skyrocket those two together. Don't be surprised, Nick, if Elias and Kevin Owens, because of this segment, end up being a tag team for the long term, like Cesaro and Sheamus, and they become the next tag team champions. Don't be surprised, because this is what WWE loves to do.
Well, you know what? Mark this episode and come back to it if that ever happens, because we called it first.
Yeah, I hope so. So I thought that was really, really interesting. One of the highlights of the show. Another highlight of the show, too, and we're going to get more into this in a little bit, but I just wanted to touch really quick. Ronda Rousey wrestled on Raw. Defended her women's championship, right? Was it a championship match or no?
I really don't know if it was a championship match or not. I
forget.
Think so.
Either way, she wasn't going to lose it anyways, and obviously she didn't lose it. But she took on Ruby Riott, and Ruby Riott is an underrated performer in my opinion. Those two worked great together. I thought that was one of Ronda's best matches. I think it was better than the match that she had with Nia and Alexa, honestly.
Yeah, well, obviously, we all know that Ruby Riott is the top star of Riott Squad.
Yeah.
I feel like the other ones, they're good. Not taking anything away from Liv Morgan, Sarah Logan, but they're just they got work to do.
Of course, yeah.
But I really think that
that Ruby is the best, one of the best on Monday Night Raw, and it really proved. Like I said, I felt like those two really worked well together, and I would love to see a program with them. I'd love to see a long-time feud between those two, because I was just really, really impressed with what I saw from both of them.
I think the opportunities, are endless for Ruby Riott after she breaks away from Riot Squad.
Yeah.
Especially too, they turn her heel. Obviously, she has the look for a heel.
Yeah.
So she plays it great. But one thing I was mentioning when I was watching, I saw a couple of people talking about it. I love Ronda Rousey. Everyone who knows me knows that. But do you think that her wrestling on Raw every 2 weeks, is diminishing her and kind of getting stale?
Yeah, I mean, that's something that a lot of people have been talking about because, she obviously is not getting the Brock Lesnar treatment. So she's not, appearing every, couple of months here and there. She's a full-time superstar, so she's on every single week. I know what you're saying, basically, and I know what everybody else is saying, but I don't think that. I think people would start to hate Ronda like they hate Brock because she doesn't show up. Now, her being there every week, she only started wrestling on Raw recently. Yeah. She's been there every week, but she only started wrestling a couple of weeks ago.
By the way, I didn't mention, I don't have a problem with her being there every week. I love the fact that she's there. I love that she's dedicated and she's enjoying herself. But I just think that, her matches kind of go the same route where, she'll get some offense and then, the other person gets the offense and then she comes in with a couple of flips, an arm bar, and then it's over.
Yeah.
And, I feel like, I'm not sure. I guess right now the rumor is Nikki Bella, so maybe she'll jump into that feud. But right now she really is not feuding with anybody.
Yeah, I think, I know. Well, ever since her feud with Alexa Bliss ended, it's basically just like her facing off against the Riot Squad, and she had a couple of matches with Alicia Fox. But it's just her next feud is going to come for Evolution. Rumored to be Nikki Bella. I'm sure if it is indeed going to be Nikki Bella, we'll be seeing that kind of happen this Saturday at the Super Showdown when they team together. Nikki's going to have to turn on her or something like that. If it doesn't happen at the Super Showdown, it's going to happen on Raw. It better start happening soon because Evolution's in a couple of weeks now. We're already into October, and they really haven't built this pay-per-view up at all.
I mean, if I'm correct, there's 3 announced matches. There's Lita and Mickey, Trish and Alexa, and Kairi Sane versus Shayna Baszler.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Only announced matches, and like I said, they planned and they advertised 50 women on this card. So, I mean, I don't know when they're going to start with these matches, and it's really it sucks because this is such a big event. But I feel like that people aren't going to think so because there's going to be thrown out matches. Oh, this is a match. This is a match. This is a match without any build to it.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm not trying to get I'm not going to judge right now because I know everything is about the Super Showdown right now. It's basically what it is. It's a pretty big show in Australia. After this, the next event is Evolution. So I think they'll start building it after the Super Showdown, possibly as early as next Monday on Raw. But we'll have to wait to see with that. But going back to Ronda Rousey, no, I don't think she's getting stale wrestling on Raw. I actually like to see how she's progressing every single week and how she's getting better and better. So I'm enjoying it because I really do enjoy seeing her in there. Every time she's in there, I just want to keep seeing her getting better and better. And that's the only way she's going to get better is if she keeps wrestling on Raw because she can't do what Brock does. Brock only got away with it because he was around as a full-time superstar back in the day. He obviously knows how this works by now. He doesn't need to get better and better. We know what Brock Lesnar is. So for that reason, no, I don't think Ronda is getting stale. Yeah. So the last thing that I want to talk about on Raw, because again, not much to talk about anyways, was the main event segment. The main event was Shawn Michaels coming out, talking about the Super Showdown, being in Triple H's corner this Saturday for Triple H's match with The Undertaker. And I kind of had a feeling we were going to see The Undertaker here because it's the last, Raw. It's the final build-up to this big-time, last-time ever match that they're constantly talking about. And I kind of figured we would see him, and we did. So, the lights go out. Kane's in the ring behind HBK. Undertaker all of a sudden appears behind him. Then Triple H comes out and starts attacking The Undertaker until Undertaker and Kane do double choke slams. And then Undertaker does the tombstone to Triple H. This was a great ending to Raw.
Yeah, for two guys like us who grew up watching these guys, Monday nights consisted of Triple H, HBK, Randy Orton, Batista, those kind of guys. It was a great, I can never not get happy when I see The Undertaker.
Yeah.
It's just me. A lot of people don't like seeing him back all the time. It's just when I feel like The Undertaker is there, I feel like it elevates the program, makes it feel important. Like, oh wow, The Undertaker showed up for this. What's going on? And I just think it makes everything a lot, more important feeling.
Well, the fact that these guys, who are obviously way past their prime, are still main eventing Raw in the year of 2018 is unbelievable.
By the way, can we speak about how Shawn Michaels is now bald?
Yeah, that's another thing.
He went from long hair to some hair to just, you know what, take it all off.
Oh my God, I know. It looks so weird if he is going to come back and wrestle a match.
Yeah.
If somebody turned it on for the first time, they'd be like, wait, this is
that?
Shawn Michaels? Yeah, like what? Yeah, that was kind of weird. He had like a bandana on and everything, but it doesn't surprise me because all these guys that used to have long hair seem like they cut it after they retire. I guess it gets annoying, which I could definitely see why. But I don't know. I just thought this was a great ending segment, and anybody who hated on that should just probably stop watching altogether because after you got a brutal 3 hours, that was something awesome to get excited about as an ending to go into the Super Showdown. And like I said, it's pretty sad that they have to have these guys in this main event slot in order for us to get excited rather than have the young guys in there because when they have like it ends with like Roman and just like the Shield, let me just put it out there, it's boring. It's boring because we see it too much. But this was really, really cool to see all these guys in the same ring together. Even Kane, I don't think we've seen him since he won the mayor of Tennessee or whatever.
Yeah, Knox County, Tennessee.
Yeah, so I don't think we've seen him since that. So pretty cool to see him back there. Just an awesome way to end Raw.
Which is something, I mean, like I said, obviously everybody loves hating on the product, but you can honestly thank these overseas shows for these moments because if there was no Crown Jewel, no, Super Showdown, what would make Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, Kane, and Undertaker and Triple H be in the same exact ring at the same time?
Nothing. They certainly don't build up these shows like they build up WrestleMania. Let's put it up that way.
I mean, we can hope. I mean, supposedly the rumors are that WrestleMania this year is going to be very good. Hopefully, I've heard rumors, rumblings that The Rock's going to come back. I'd be all for that.
Yeah. That's something that I do want to talk about as the show goes on. We'll get more into that. But let's move over to SmackDown Live now from last night.
Yeah, SmackDown is obviously let's go from the B show to the A show. And obviously I love everything that SmackDown does. I feel like they're right in the money. I think they dropped the ball this week. After they ended last week on an ultimate high with Samoa Joe being on AJ Styles' front porch and with the great line, Daddy's home, and it cut out and everyone's like, wow, what's he gonna do next? I really was expecting more than them to just say, oh, we called the police and he's gone.
Yeah.
I mean,
I know. It was a little bit of a letdown. I think a lot of people were expecting more from that. Kind of like a Randy Orton Triple H type of thing where Triple H actually broke into the house with a sledgehammer.
Yeah.
And, but again, you got to remember, like, the times are a little bit different now.
Which is a real shame because, obviously if you've been a fan of pro wrestling, like we have, that AJ Styles and Samoa Joe are very close friends. So they feel comfortable with each other doing things like AJ's okay with him calling out his wife's name.
Yeah.
Things like that. So I think that if they had the green light, they really could have done something special with this.
Yeah, they definitely could have. But, the feud is still great that it's gotten as personal as it has. And the fact that Samoa Joe even went to, like, the doorstep of the house is still pretty cool. It feels like it's really, really intense, even though, obviously we all want more. But who knows? Maybe this is just a planting of the seeds, and maybe Samoa Joe's going to go back there and actually do break into the house. Who knows how far this feud's going to go? I still expect it to go past this Super Showdown. So we'll see. Who knows? But that's probably one of the best feuds going on in SmackDown right now.
Definitely. And one thing that didn't really get much attention, which I think really should have, was Shelton Benjamin turning heel. Finally.
Yeah.
I think that's a great move for him.
Yeah.
Definitely well needed, because of his character, of what we've known of him in the past, what he's capable of. I think a heel turn for him is great, and I hope that it leads to maybe a U.S. title shot or something down the line.
Yeah, I always loved Shelton Benjamin. I really did. Going back to like back in 2008 when he was like just killing it over there. He was the United States champion back then. Obviously went to New Japan Pro Wrestling, killed it over there too. The guy is a great talent. He really is tremendous, and obviously he's older now, and he's like one of the veteran type guys in the locker room and stuff like that. But it really is cool to still see him, and this heel turn's interesting. It really is. I'm curious to see where it goes and how far it goes because ever since Chad Gable left him, Shelton Benjamin hasn't really done anything. He's just been just chilling. He barely gets TV time, but when he does, he really makes the most of it. And what did he face Daniel Bryan last night?
Yeah, he faced Daniel Bryan. And funny, another thing too, there's a lot of headlines coming out of SmackDown. Daniel Bryan, I'm not sure if you even saw the clip. Daniel Bryan went for his headbutt dive off the top rope and actually just clunked heads with Shelton Benjamin as he was laying down, which, I mean, you hate to see that, especially knowing Daniel Bryan's past.
I saw the GIF, whatever you want to call it, on Twitter. And a lot of people were talking about that because Daniel Bryan has to go to the back every single time after every match, and he has to have like a concussion protocol now just to make sure he's okay. Obviously, if he had a concussion, I think we would know by now.
I don't think it was that hard of an impact, but
Yeah.
it's just one of those things where even when he does his flying kicks and he hits the mat, I just get nervous.
No, I know you get nervous about everything nowadays because he's so delicate, and it's an unfortunate situation. It really is, but I mean I could do without him. I don't need to see him doing the headbutt anymore. I mean, just because of the situation that he's in right now. He's lucky to even be wrestling like he is right now. I would do away with the headbutt, altogether. But another thing on SmackDown that continues to shine is the Becky Lynch and the Charlotte program, which just
amazing.
Each SmackDown, it feels like there's a new layer added to the storyline. And obviously this week it was Becky coming out and unveiling a picture of her over Charlotte with the title and said this is the new Super Showdown poster, which I thought was pretty funny. Who knew Becky Lynch could be such a great heel?
Yeah, I mean, she was a heel back in the days of NXT, the early days, which I wasn't even watching NXT when that happened. So I really don't know. I didn't really know she was capable of this much, but she's in a tough spot because she plays such a good heel, but the crowd will never play into it. I don't think it's very hard to think of a situation or something she can do that will cause them to boo her. I mean,
she's just the ultimate babyface. Everybody just wants to see her do great things, which she's doing right now. I really thought they were going to do a double turn and turn Charlotte heel and have Becky as the babyface, but they haven't done that yet, and I'm actually okay with it because, again, Becky's killing it in this role. I mean, how could I hate it?
It works because, honestly, when I'm watching them two, I'm not thinking, all right, who's the heel, who's the babyface? Yeah. I'm just thinking, wow, they both, they're playing the role great, and they legitimately look like they hate each other, which is amazing. It plays off on TV so well. Their brawls are not like diva brawls. I don't know if I'm going to offend anybody by saying that, but they're actual brawls. Like, they're I mean, it's not actually punching each other, but, they make it look very real. Mm-hmm. And I think that, the future, there's endless possibilities of things they could do. Honestly, I'm ready for 3 or 4 more matches between them.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely. So we get another match this Saturday at the Super Showdown between these two. Charlotte got the upper hand last night going into that big event on Saturday, but I'm sure these two will have another match at Evolution, and who knows, maybe beyond that. Again, like you said, I'm down to see as many matches as we could possibly see. Kind of like what they did with Sasha and Charlotte that one year in 2016, where they just had a match and the feud going on for like 4 months.
Minus all the title changes.
Yeah. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see Charlotte regain this title. I want Becky to hold this for a while now, at least until WrestleMania. Because why would she drop it right now? Why? There's just no reason for her to drop it.
No, I think she's on fire right now.
Yeah, straight fire. Yeah, she is. So I mean that's basically SmackDown Live in a nutshell.
Also, wait, really quickly before we get off of SmackDown Live, Ryan, have you ever been to Milwaukee?
Never been to Milwaukee.
You know who has been to Milwaukee? Lana Rusev, Aiden English.
Yeah, that is another thing to talk about on SmackDown. I'm telling you, this is like just not PG at all.
It's really, I mean, it's fun. It's funny. And I think everybody, if you have any common sense, you know where the storyline's going, where the rest of the clip is going to be her saying, like, I want you to apologize, Rusev. Or
it's going to be some sort of swerve.
But you know what, though? If they keep playing it up like the way they are and, possibly, Rusev and Lana break kind of, I think they can make a great storyline out of it.
Yeah, I really think so, too. It's definitely intriguing. And, when Aiden English turned on Rusev, I don't think anybody really expected it to come anytime soon, as soon as it did. And I was like, okay, so now what's Aiden English going to do? Like, he's just going to fade away and just be irrelevant again? Like, that would be a shame because of how much great work he did to get Rusev over. But I like how they're still incorporating him into a feud with Rusev. And I guess this is their way of doing it, which is pretty funny. It's comical. Everybody gets a kick out of it. And, I can't wait to see how this thing just keeps going on and on. I can't wait to see what the ultimate, climax is. Yeah. Like what actually, is Lana going to say about it? So it is pretty funny. That's another great feud that's going on SmackDown. Like I said, SmackDown has great feuds. They have at least 3 feuds going on right now. And, they have a 2-hour show, and everything is meaningful. On Raw, I feel like I'm sitting there wasting my time half the time watching The Ascension go one-on-one with Bobby Roode or Bayley going at it with Alicia Fox. And then here comes Jinder Mahal because they're Alicia in the mixed match challenge. It's just... See, no, I don't want to see it.
The way I look at it, and I mean, it's pretty clear when you look at it that they use Raw to elevate other things. Obviously, that Bailey and Alicia was to promote the mixed match challenge.
Yeah.
Then the main event was to promote Super Showdown, and then the triple threat for the title between Braun, Brock, and Roman is to promote Crown Jewel. SmackDown, you don't see that. Honestly, the only time they've mentioned Super Showdown on SmackDown is talking about AJ and Joe and Charlotte and Becky.
Yeah.
Which are two matches that are on their brand, building on their brand, that are going to be on those shows. Which I think that, it's great. They have 2 hours to do it. So, I mean, I guess they don't have time to do it, but, hey, it works out in their favor.
Yeah, I mean, Raw's the flagship show, which is why they, promote other things like that, like you're saying. And that's why all the big stars like The Undertaker, like Brock Lesnar, like Ronda Rousey, that's why they're on Raw, because that's the show. That's Vince McMahon's love. That's his baby. So that's never going to change, even though the fans view SmackDown as the better product. It's not, it doesn't matter. Raw will always be that show. Everything that goes down that has a lot of importance will go down on Raw. It's just the way it's always going to be. I know SmackDown did just get a big, massive television deal from Fox.
Yeah, which is next, actually probably a year from now. We'll be watching SmackDown Live on probably Fox Sports 1 or...
Yeah, so it's again, SmackDown's getting up there, but Raw is still going to be the top show. It's just, it always will be like that.
But there will be one night that SmackDown does get all those stars. SmackDown 1000 coming up in 2 weeks in Washington D.C. A lot of huge stars announced. Evolution's announced. I believe The Undertaker was he announced?
I don't think he was promoted yet, but I have to. You have to imagine.
Undertaker was SmackDown when I was a kid. He was barely on Raw. He was always SmackDown. Rumors of Rey Mysterio going to be debuting.
Oh yeah,
debuting, not making an appearance, debuting back
so he's
on
coming
SmackDown.
Back. Yeah, he signed a 2-year deal. I mentioned that on the show last week. That he signed a 2-year deal and he's back now. So yeah, SmackDown 1000 is going to be his debut back, which is going to be really cool. I feel like we're going to be watching like an episode of SmackDown from back in the day. All they need is a giant fist put as the entrant.
I know that they have that fist somewhere. It's in the warehouse. They just got to pull it out.
Oh man, they have to do so. Imagine they brought that back. Oh man, what?
It's the simple things that fans want that they don't give them. That could literally that would be the talk of Twitter for the entire night of wow, the fist is back. Oh my god, the old stage bring back the white aprons with the white posts. And just bring back the old SmackDown that we remember growing up as kids. It was great.
Yeah, just for one night, just for a throwback episode for SmackDown 1000, kind of like they do the Raw 25 at the Hammerstein. How they made it look so old school. I mean, they have to do something like that. I know they're not. I'm not getting my hopes up at all. But yeah, Evolution announced for that show, even though Evolution was never on SmackDown.
I don't think even once.
But. No. But again, this is just how they have to promote these top shows because they know they're not going to get all the top stars to appear. So, they have Ric Flair, Batista, who was a big staple of SmackDown from back in the day.
That's a big shock that they got Batista to come back. I mean, I never thought there was real heat between them. I think Batista was kind of a little mad.
He was a little salty.
Yeah, a little salty that they really never called. They didn't call him for the Raw 25. And he even mentioned on Twitter a month back, someone asked him, I tweeted him, "Are you gonna be at SmackDown 1000?" And he flat out said no because they didn't call me. So maybe that woke them up and was like, all right, we can't neglect him.
How could that wake them up? How could they just forget about Dave Batista?
Batista is a huge star now. Not even some people know of Dave Batista. Not even he's a wrestler.
Yeah,
they know of him as a movie actor.
Right, well, Guardians of the Galaxy, right?
Yeah.
He's in. Yeah, he's a great actor now too. But it's definitely gonna be cool to see him back. I know he didn't get a great reaction when he has come back in the past a couple of years ago when he won the Royal Rumble when he came back, and obviously. Face Daniel Bryan and Randy Orton in the main event.
Nobody was getting good reactions back then. Because if you went up against Daniel Bryan, you're getting booed no matter what.
Yeah, so it was a tough spot for him. But cool to see him back and curious to see how that show goes down. That's in a couple of weeks. 2 weeks already at this point.
Yeah, I think last night was 998, so 2 more.
Yeah, so it's going to be pretty cool to see that and how that all plays out. All right, so that's basically the programming for the week. Raw and SmackDown. A couple of good things happened, but of course, we all know this is the best we're going to get at this point. The product is the way it is. I don't see it changing anytime soon, but that's that. So now we're going to get into a little something called the Radar Rundown, where we're just going to run down a whole bunch of topics and things that are going on right now in the world of pro wrestling, even outside of the WWE. And I want to start off by talking about New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Good old New Japan.
I love New Japan so much. So they had a big show this past Sunday in Long Beach, California. It was Fighting Spirit Unleashed. great show. The top matches were outstanding. We have a new United States champion in Cody.
Big shocker right there.
Beat Juice Robinson. God, Tama Tonga Loa defeated the Young Bucks for the tag titles. Not really a big fan of that, but I understand why they do it. The Bucks will probably win it back at the next show because they flip-flop those belts around so much. Kenny Omega, Kota Ibushi, the Golden Lovers in the main event defeated Okada and Ishii. And Marty Scurll defeated Will Ospreay in a IWGP Junior Heavyweight title semifinal match. He'll face Kushida next week at King of Pro Wrestling. But overall, a really good event.
Can we talk about that Ospreay and Marty Scurll match? Because from the opening bell, that was like electric. Like the opening bell, they just went at each other, and it was like I said, that's the type of wrestling that some people don't like. They say they don't like the flippy stuff. They don't like the gymnastics and stuff. But though, that like do you not see the crowd during that match? I mean, I've seen videos of people, like the reaction videos of people, and they're like they were blown away.
Yeah.
And it really shows that that's the new age. Obviously real wrestling is not going away. But you know what? That's what you got to do to get a reaction from the crowd.
It's true, yeah. And obviously, if you've seen their matches in the past, I mean, you know how good these two guys are together. They know each other better than anybody else. So they kill it every single time. They killed it back in April at Sakura Genesis for New Japan. And another great match. I think it was the best match on the show out of every single match. So hats off to them. And I'm glad to see Marty Scurll pick up the win and face Kushida next week. I don't know where Will Ospreay is going to go from here, but he can only go do amazing things. I mean, he's Will Ospreay. He's great in any role he does. So
well, I mean, he did. I'm not sure if you saw his tweet, but he tweeted something along the lines of like, maybe I should take a step back. So maybe that means like maybe take a step back from New Japan, let Marty Kushida settle it out, and whatever happens fizzles out from that. And maybe he'll take on some more Ring of Honor dates. Maybe he'll take on
hopefully
some just other independent dates, which would be great because seeing Will Ospreay live is always something that it's great to see.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And like we mentioned before, Cody is the new IWGP United States champion. So now he has a Ring of Honor 6-man tag team championship with the Young Bucks. He's got the 10 pounds of gold, the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship, and now he adds another title with the United States Championship. And it's just crazy how much success, I should say, this guy has had since leaving the WWE on his own terms. And I know you're not a huge fan of the title change because, honestly, I can't say I'm a huge fan of it either because I love Juice Robinson, and obviously he's a full-time New Japan guy, and Cody isn't. But it is great to just see the success of Cody just keep on rising.
From like he says, from undesirable to undeniable. Yep. You can't deny the fact that Cody is great. He's really changing the game as far as professional wrestling. And I do believe that, obviously, in the heat of the moment, I texted you saying, well, I'm not a big fan of that because I said, just like you, I love Juice Robinson.
Yeah.
But I do understand, I do believe that Nick Aldis will probably take the NWA's World's Heavyweight title back
I think so.
At the 70th anniversary show. I think that the reason why Cody won that in the first place was it was all in. It was the moment.
Special moment,
and it was a great moment and a moment that they can't take away from him.
No, never. Yeah, never. Everybody, that event All In will be remembered from, that would be something that will be remembered from that event. Absolutely.
He'll always have the pictures of him with the title right next to Dusty, and like I said, it's the goal achieved. But
like I said, goal achieved, and then the goal for NWA too, the new Wrestling Alliance too. It basically elevated that company, which, again, Billy Corgan is trying to revive and bring it back up to where it once was. Having that belt being defended on that grand stage like All In definitely helped that promotion and that championship, too.
Yeah, I mean, you see they already got their first show since All In, the 70th anniversary show.
Which I'm definitely going to check out. That should be a good one.
Yeah, I think you can get that on Fight TV.
Yeah.
So that's definitely something that, is going to be a great, it's going to be a great rematch. Mm-hmm. And I guarantee it's going to be a sellout. And honestly, the NWA, if they play their cards right and don't, screw anything up, it can only go up from here.
Yeah, absolutely. So, who knows? Maybe Cody will retain and just carry around the 3 belts. Who knows? We don't know what's going to happen. But, yeah, I mean, it's great to see Cody just keep on rising. And it's his world, and we're just living in it, basically. So it's pretty crazy to see what he has really accomplished as of late. So just hats off to him and another tremendous New Japan show. They have another show next Monday. It's National Sports Day in Japan. It's a big deal. That's why it's on a Monday. It's a Monday morning for us. It starts at 4 a.m. here. It's actually Columbus Day. So if you're off from work or school, check out New Japan. It won't disappoint. You got a couple of top matches on that card, one of which was announced at the end of the show on Sunday. It'll be a triple threat match for the IWGP Heavyweight title. Kota Ibushi, Kenny Omega, and Cody. And I don't know the exact stat, but this is only like the second or third time that IWGP Heavyweight title has been defended in a triple threat match.
I believe Kenny Omega said that it's only been done 3 times before, so this means that this will be the 4th one. And you can even tell because if you go on New Japan's website and look at the match card, they don't even have a triple threat graphic. Like it goes Kenny Omega, then goes someone else, and then
right at the bottom, Cody's on the bottom.
Someone else. It's like they're not even prepared for it, which is, it's pretty funny. But
that just goes to show how prestigious this company and this championship is. They don't just hand out triple threats and fatal 4-ways like it's like candy on Halloween, like the WWE does. Oh, here's a triple threat. Oh, here's a 6 man scramble or whatever. They don't throw it out like that, which makes it really, really special. Another top match that's going on in this show we just mentioned is Marty Scurll and Kushida, and Tanahashi is defending his IWGP Heavyweight title briefcase against Switchblade Jay White, which is going to be a great match because now Switchblade has just gotten even more power behind him now with Gato. And it was a great segment this past Sunday when he just basically went on the microphone and said he deserves an opportunity to fight for the heavyweight title if he beats Tanahashi at King of Pro Wrestling. So that'll be a great match.
And I'm not sure, as much as I want to say that Jay White's going to win it, I don't think he's going to win it because I think he even mentioned it in his promo in Long Beach how New Japan they're scared of having 2 foreigners in the main event of Wrestle Kingdom. They don't want Kenny Omega Canadian, Jay White American. They don't want that. So
they wouldn't
American,
do that.
New Zealand.
They probably wouldn't do that, but it's too soon for Jay White anyways. I think this sets up Jay White versus Okada at Wrestle Kingdom because of Gato's interaction with it now. Yeah, so
he'll have his time because just say Omega goes on a long run, but it's inevitable. Omega will eventually jump ship to the E
eventually,
and I really think that will be the time when Jay White. Hopefully, that's year, half, 2 years from now. Jay White can build up his status, build up his credibility, and take that title off of Omega and be a great champion.
Yeah, well, they're already so high on Jay White. I mean, he beat Okada and Tanahashi in the G1. This will be, if he faced Okada this year at Wrestle Kingdom. Last year he faced Tanahashi. This year Okada. He beat Kenny Omega his first time for the IWGP US Championship. Guy's already gotten so much. I mean, he could only keep going up and up and up from here, and they're obviously so high on him, so it's only a matter of time. And like you said, when AJ Styles left Bullet Club and left New Japan, Kenny Omega took over. That's why Kenny Omega is as big as he is right now, because AJ Styles left. Once Kenny Omega leaves, maybe Jay White will be that next guy to take over.
Need that star.
They just need that guy. They need that foreign star, that guy Gene, as they call it in New Japan, to step in and be the next big star. So I think he's definitely the guy for that. And then another big thing that's going on is a big tag team match where Naito will introduce a new member of Los Ingobernables de Japón to the group. It's Okada and Yano and Yo and Sho versus Naito, Evil, Bushi, and X.
And who is X? I mean, I know everybody wants it to be Pac, aka Neville. I mean, I'm not sure if he signed. I don't think he signed a contract with Dragon Gate. I really don't think
we'll get into that in a little bit.
Yeah, we'll go with that. But I don't think that he signed a full-time contract. So I don't think it's going to be him.
I don't think it's going to be him either. And again, to guess is kind of weird because we're not totally familiar with the Japanese wrestlers that.
Their mid card or someone that we don't even really couldn't know of. I mean, could easily take over.
Shingo Takagi.
That's the name I heard.
Is the guy in Dragon Gate that had his final match yesterday morning, which is where Neville debuted and he beat him in his final match. He basically ruined his final match in Dragon Gate. They're saying that this guy is going to come over now and be in New Japan, and he's friends with Naito. And if you just look at this guy, I don't know if you ever seen a picture of him.
I saw the picture. He looks like LIJ.
Yeah, he looks like somebody that could fit in with the group perfectly. So I am totally expecting it to be him. If not, I don't know who it's going to be. I really have no idea because, again, we're not totally familiar with the Japanese promotions over there and all these guys. I mean, you get to learn who they are. When I first started watching New Japan, I was like, who the hell is Toru Yano? Who the hell is Tetsuya Naito? I learned who these guys really were, and now I could throw out their names without a problem. And somebody who doesn't watch New Japan is probably like, how do you pronounce their names so well? How do you know which Japanese guy is which? again, you watch it and you start to know these guys. So if it is Shingo Takagi, we'll get to know him more and more as we watch New Japan. So I'm hoping it's him, actually.
And if you could think, just say it's not him, and think they'd ever really introduce like an American to that, which it'd be weird to see if they ever did.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, I think Neville would have fit in perfectly with that. I really do. I think he would have fit. I think he could be like Bushi. He could put on like, not wrestle full time with a mask, but like, you know how like AJ Styles used to come out with that mask when they go back to Osaka, Japan? Like, I feel like he could like put some paint on or like put on some sort of like cool looking like mask, kind of like Taiji Ishimori, what he comes out with.
Yeah, the Bone Soldier.
Yeah, I think he could do that, but obviously I don't think it's going to be him now, and we basically should jump right into that. Yeah. So, that's the big news. The big breaking news that came out yesterday was Pac, who everybody knows as Neville, but he was Pac on the Independents. He re-debuted for Dragon Gate over in Japan. From what I gather, reading the articles, now I'm not really familiar with Dragon Gate too much, but he debuted in a stable called RED, or Red, whatever, I don't know how you pronounce it. And he was like the mystery guy, like how I just said X is like the mystery guy for the next Monday's New Japan show. They had the same thing. It was just X, and it ended up being Pac. Came out, and people just went nuts on Twitter. It exploded because here we go. Like, now it's go time. Like, we've been waiting for Neville to show up somewhere for a couple of months now because he hasn't been under contract with WWE. And here it is. This is the start of it. And like you said, he would be stupid to sign a contract right away.
Yeah, no.
He needs to do what Cody did for a year and wrestle wherever he wants, whenever he wants. And then, like Cody did, maybe settle down and sign with the company. But unfortunately, I don't know if he could wrestle in Dragon Gate and in New Japan. I know he's already announced for the November 6th Dragon Gate show. So that's why I don't think he's going to debut in New Japan anytime soon.
No, and right now, I'll give you my company. My number one that should be all eyes on him is Ring of Honor. Yeah. Ring of Honor, a guy like him would literally elevate them because. So in the last show they had the Death Before Dishonor. Something Dave Meltzer said. Someone tweeted him saying, what's wrong with the crowd, and someone responded and said they're all here for Bullet Club and they're in the main and they're in like the last match.
Yeah.
So Ring of Honor needs more stars besides Bullet Club. Obviously, that's their top draws: Cody, Young Bucks, Marty, Adam Page. But they need more stars outside. That's why I'm glad that Jeff Cobb showed up and actually, spoiler alert, won the television title.
Yeah, spoiler. It's not spoiler. Ring of Honor basically spoils
they
themselves.
tweeted it. But, I think that Ring of Honor needs to start establishing more stars outside of Bullet Club.
Absolutely, yeah. And if he goes to Ring of Honor, that means he can wrestle in New Japan, which, again, to me, that is the best case scenario for a wrestler. In my opinion, I'm looking at it as a fan. Obviously, I'm looking at it for the money and what works best with them and their families, whatever. But to me, the Ring of Honor New Japan combination is just the best out there. I mean, you get to wrestle for two of the top promotions in the world.
Yeah, no, definitely. And for a guy like Neville, I never heard anything about him being married. He probably has a girlfriend, but definitely no kids, no family.
No.
So he really doesn't have that much of a commitment to really. Obviously, I don't know the guy's life, but I can't see him having to make a really tough decision of my family, because I think it really is him, just him and his girl, I guess.
Yeah, I mean the big question now is like, where does Neville show up next? Like, that's the really interesting one, because again, since I don't think he signed a contract, but he is. He is going to be doing specific dates for Dragon Gate. I don't know where he can show up. I don't know, like, if he... I'm sure he can get booked on, like, another independent promotion, but, like, I don't know, can he show up at Bound for Glory for Impact? Like, I don't know.
See, my thing is that I feel like Pac... Neville, I'm just going to call him Neville because that's what everybody knows him as. That I feel like he's above that. And I'm nothing against Impact. I love Impact. I think they're doing great. But I think he's above the indie scenes. I think that he needs to be with a company like Ring of Honor, like New Japan, big platform, big exposure. I can't see him going to NEW, Northeast Wrestling, and sitting in front of a table with his T-shirts trying to sell. I feel like that's not the guy he is right now.
Yeah, I know
feel
what
like
you're
saying. He's on top of the world, and I think that he really should and could fit in with a big company.
I know what you're saying, but Cody did do that. Like, what Cody right off the bat was at Northeast Wrestling, was there. I don't know if he was selling his merchandise, but he was doing like meet and greets. I remember the Wrestle Circus promotion. He did a meet and greet there. They probably just upped the price for a guy like him, but he did all those companies. So I do think Neville will do those companies. Just in my opinion, and I think he will show up at Impact Wrestling at one point, because whether you want to call Impact whatever you want to call it. It's not an indie. It's on TV. It's got a television deal. I mean, it's in a better spot than Ring of Honor if you think about it. So it's been the second biggest promotion in the world. To me, obviously, that's New Japan, but to other people, like it's Impact is a U.S. promotion. It's on TV, so that's another big promotion, other than WWE. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see where he goes next. But again, only time will tell with Neville. But great to see him back in a wrestling ring. I saw him doing the Red Arrow. Oh man, it's just so great. Like, this is why wrestling's so good, because you get so excited when you see guys like this make their ultimate comeback after a year and go back home. Like, Neville's been in Dragon Gate before. That's why he went back. It's just great to see.
That's why wrestling is great, because there's always something new happening.
Yeah.
It's not like, when during baseball off season you barely hear news. No, there is always something happening in the world of wrestling, whether you just watch WWE or you watch everything. You never know when stuff's going to happen.
Well, that's why. How could we sit here for an hour and just talk about WWE? Like, you can't. Like, there's just so much other stuff going on around the world, man. It's just crazy. Yeah. But yeah, that's definitely something that is big, and now we just wait to see when Neville shows up next.
And from one technically free agent to the other, the rumors are swirling. That's what the big rumor right now is. Chris Jericho is going to be showing up at Bound for Glory, which would be huge for Impact Wrestling.
Unbelievable. I mean, if you would have told me a couple of years ago that Chris Jericho would eventually be in TNA, which, they'll always be called TNA even though they're Impact right now, I mean, like, everybody would laugh at that statement. Like, that's unbelievable. Like, whoever thought, like, Chris Jericho, like, somebody like him would ever go to a company like that? Like, I know back in the day, like, they had Jeff Hardy going there. They have Ric Flair, Mick Foley, all that. Because, like, TNA used to be, like, the place to be. Mm-hmm. Like, you leave WWE, you go to TNA.
Yeah,
like, Ring of
that's
Honor,
why everyone called it WWE's retirement home.
Yeah, basically. Like, Ring of Honor was, like, the up-and-coming stars or whatever. And then, Impact was like that, the retirement home. But, obviously, Chris Jericho has the connection to Don Callis. It's just really going to be surreal to see him in Impact Wrestling. It really is.
Especially, too, Bound for Glory, so if you don't know, is going to be taking place at Melrose Ballroom in Queens. Yeah. Not a big place, and it's going to have that indie feel to it, even though Impact obviously is it's going to be on pay-per-view. It's a big company. Yeah. But it's going to have that small, indie feel. So seeing Jericho, like, in that kind of environment is definitely going to be interesting. And Jericho, said on podcasts, he's having a blast.
Yeah, I know. I mean, again, how could you not? And he even tweeted out during Raw on Monday. Actually, I think it was a couple of hours after Raw, because I guess he was watching it on delay. And he tweeted, "Wrestling is so boring sometimes, .. #yawn." And obviously, what could he be talking about on a Monday night that makes people yawn? Like, obviously, it was a shot at Raw. So, honestly, I don't see him going back to WWE anytime soon, even though he said he would never screw Vince and wrestle for another promotion in the U.S. Obviously, he has a change in heart. He was at All In. He's the Intercontinental Champion for New Japan. Now at Bound for Glory. I mean, this guy's everywhere.
Put it this way. He'll go back to WWE. He won't sign contracts and he won't do any feuds. Mm-hmm. He'll show up for, they need someone to show up in the Rumble. All right, I'll show up in the Rumble. Oh, we need someone to, show up on this special show or wrestle one match at at the Saudi Arabia show. Yeah. I think that's the part of his career with WWE that he's on to right now. Yeah. And it's funny, a guy like him did the unconventional route where he was with the top dog for all these years, and now he's going back and he's doing these other. I mean, I don't use the word top dog because like other companies aren't, but like usually
you didn't, but now you do. Like now that's the big thing. But yeah, I mean, that's just a crazy rumor, and right now it's only a rumor. It's not confirmed. They're not going to confirm it. Chris Jericho could do what he did at All In. He could dress as like Pentagon because Pentagon will be on the card, and he could just interfere. Now, who he's going to feud with? He's been jawing with Sami Callihan on Twitter. I think that would be awesome.
That would be something I'd love to see.
Because other than that, I don't know what he's going to do. I don't think he's going to just jump into the main event picture and like attack like Austin Aries in the main event. Like I don't see him doing that. But it will be interesting to see what type of capacity he's in. And of course, like I think you said this to me too, like when the rumors came out, like Jericho's not going to be there every week, whatever. With the way Impact tapes their shows, Nick, they
honestly,
have two TV tapings Monday and Tuesday after that Bound for Glory. Chris Jericho could be at both of them, and he could be on TV until December. That's how it works.
That's how Impact runs their. They run their TV. They tape everything in like 2 days, and then they're good for the next 3 months.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Mean, so who says Chris Jericho can't be on Impact TV until February? All he has to do is show up like 3 days in a row, and there you go. He's on until February. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Man, I wish you wouldn't have said Jericho and Sami Callihan because now you just got everything going in my mind. Now now anything less than that is going to be a disappointment. Thanks.
Oh man, they have to capitalize on that. They definitely do. That's going to be awesome if that does happen. But yeah, Chris Jericho at Bound for Glory. we'll see if it happens. That's gonna definitely be something. What else? What else you got over there?
Oh, let's see. You got the whole list. I mean, if we want to jump back to WWE, I mean, I feel like now we just run down some hot topics and some questions that I've got for you, you got for me.
All right.
Going back watching Raw, and like I said before, that it went like 2.5 hours into Raw, and I didn't even realize that Finn Balor wasn't there. Do you think Finn Balor should leave? I mean, I know everybody says this, and I feel like it's done by now, but legitimately, do you think Finn Balor should leave WWE?
I don't think so. No, I mean, like as a fan, I would love that to see him go back to New Japan, but he shouldn't give up so quickly, and he should be patient. Obviously, he probably enjoys being in WWE. I mean, I don't know. I don't talk to him every day, obviously, but I'm sure he enjoys being there. He gets paid good, and he's one of the top stars. I mean, merchandise sales and everything, and he's popular. People dress up like him when they go to the events. So, no, I don't think he should leave. I don't think he is going to leave. But obviously, as a fan, I would love to see him back in New Japan, absolutely. He's just not in that spot like Cody was, where he's just, like, drowning. He's not drowning yet.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think if they keep the Shield and Strowman, Ziggler, and McIntyre feud going any longer, he could drown with no title to go for or nothing. But I think he'll always be that guy, that go-to guy, where they know, all right, we need someone. All right, Finn Balor's there,
right,
maybe.
Right.
And like I said, I really do hope that eventually. I mean, obviously, I can't see it happening even this year, probably not even next year. But he has his run with the Universal title. I mean, I think
eventually, man. I'm telling you, we just have to be patient. Eventually, I think it'll happen. Again, he just really needs to be patient. A couple more minutes left here, and I have a couple of other things too written down here. All right, so I don't know if you heard the rumor, but Saudi Arabia, the Saudi officials over there are willing to pay $20 million to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson for him to be WWE champion. And I don't think they actually mean WWE champion like the one that AJ Styles carrying around. I think they just mean a top champion, so Universal champion, which is what he would probably be, for their show in April, because you know how they do 2 Saudi Arabia shows a year now, April and November. And they want him to appear there as the champion, and there's talk of him facing Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship at WrestleMania and winning the belt there. What are your thoughts about that?
I'm just thinking, where is Saudi Arabia getting all this money from? Like, I mean, if you remember, like the last time, the amount of money they put into their deal with WWE is insane. The amount of money, I believe, who's the last guy? I think it was the Undertaker. They paid like millions of dollars to no Stone Cold. They wanted to pay all this money to have Stone Cold wrestle, and that they couldn't do. Like, obviously, he couldn't do that. But like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously, money talks.
Oh, so, yeah, of course.
Especially to Vince McMahon, money is everything.
Yeah.
And I mean, if it just sucks because you're gonna have, The Rock. Obviously, win the title, it'll be at WrestleMania. They're not gonna do it on Raw. Not gonna do it at a random pay-per-view. WrestleMania is the spot if you're gonna do a show in April.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, it wouldn't be long. So if you got to suffer through The Rock being champion for a month, I mean, it's really not that bad. Just turn on New Japan for that month. I mean,
yeah. I mean, honestly, I think if Rock's going to come back, I think him and Roman Reigns is something I'd like to see.
Definitely.
They're related. That would be a great feud, and it's just not him and John Cena. Like, it's something new.
That big fight feel to it.
Yeah. So I would definitely be down for that. And Rock taking the belt off of Roman would be cool. It'd be kind of like like when he took the belt off of CM Punk, which wasn't cool at the time. Nah. But this would be cool just because, at that point, Roman would be champion for a long time. And then, he'll walk into the Saudi Arabia show. I'm 100% sure that if he is going to go into that show as champion, Roman Reigns is going to be his challenger for that belt. But again, who knows how long he would hold that for. Obviously, The Rock won't be back long term because I'm sure there's another movie right around the corner that he's going to have to film. But it's just ridiculous how, the Saudi Arabia officials want all these top stars. And I understand why they would want that. And it's just so funny. Like, money talks. Obviously, like you said, Vince just gives in every time because, obviously it's... it's a boatload of money.
They not got anything else going on in that country. Like they have no wars, no nothing that they got to worry about. They're worrying about putting up $20 million to get The Rock to be champion.
Yeah, just for him to show up there and wrestle.
God, I mean, if that normal of a place to live where there's nothing going on where they got to worry about. I mean,
I don't know. It's pretty ridiculous, but who knows? We'll see if it happens. Obviously, a long ways away, but the rumors continue to come around that The Rock will be coming back in 2019. And in a couple more minutes, again, a couple of different things here. I wanted to congratulate the Bruiserweight Pete Dunne on 500 days as the United Kingdom champion. And who knew when he beat Tyler Bate at the TakeOver Chicago back in 2017 that he'd still be champion now?
I think he's a great face for the UK division, the UK brand. And I mean, I'm still waiting for this debut of NXT UK, so I really don't know exactly who they got on the rosters. I don't really remember who they officially announced, but I'm not really sure who couldn't take it off. I mean, Zach Gibson is a huge star that I believe eventually can succeed him and take the title. But I think right now Pete Dunne is just doing a great job with it.
Absolutely. I don't even know who's going to take the belt off of him. I don't even think they know when this UK show is going to even debut on the network. So who knows what's going to happen. But congratulations to him. He keeps setting the bar higher and higher every single week on NXT. And, just hats off to him. Can't wait to see his run continue. Like I said, Super Showdown is this Saturday. Are you going to get up for it? It's at 5 a.m. on the WWE Network here. Are you going to get up and watch it?
I got to be up for work at 6 a.m., so why not wake up an hour early, catch maybe one match or two, and and then maybe when I come home, just skim to the end and watch Undertaker and Triple H and the other matches. But there's not that much of appeal to, you could do like sometimes what I do for New Japan, where I wake up, I set it right, maybe 2 hours after it starts. That's when singles matches start, and you'll be fine because it's all tag team matches beforehand.
Basically,
it's almost set up like a New Japan card.
I know. So it's like not every match is important, but there are some big time matches. You got
definitely.
Daniel Bryan, versus the Miz #1 contendership WWE title. That's huge right there. You got Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, Becky, Charlotte. Obviously, people are going to want to watch the last time ever Triple H and Undertaker. Whether people want to say they're going to watch it or not, it's for the nostalgia purposes, basically. So, obviously, it's a big time deal. Which match out of all of those are you looking forward to the most?
It's got to. I mean, so the inner kid in me obviously is excited to see Triple H and Undertaker because I mean, it's one of those things where, like, when I look at that match, I'm not looking at their wrestling styles. Right. I'm not looking at the pace of the match or who's going over. I'm looking at it as, wow, these guys were, basically my childhood. We used to, stay up late for Monday Night Raw, talk about it at the bus stop. I mean, everything was, these guys. So it's going to be a cool match, but I think for right now's purposes, Becky and Charlotte, they're the hot hand going in.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I think Becky and Charlotte is one I'm looking forward to the most too, because we only see one match so far between them, but the feud's gotten hotter since then. Yeah. So I can't wait to see them turn it up a notch. I'm also very excited for Samoa Joe and AJ. Even the Miz and Daniel Bryan, because of the high stakes that it has.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's going to be really, really special. And, of course, we'll see what kind of goes down with Triple H and Undertaker and Shawn Michaels and Kane. Rumored tag team match at the Saudi Arabia show at the Crown Jewel in November. So we'll see what's up with that. But, yeah, 5 a.m. this Saturday. Super Showdown goes down on the WWE Network. It's going to be quite the super event. It's going to be quite the lengthy pay-per-view as well. Obviously WWE pay-per-views, go on forever these days. So it'll be like 4.5 hours, maybe 5 hours. Who even knows?
Yeah, probably 5. But you know what, though? It's one of those things where if people are complaining about the time of it, don't watch.
Yeah.
Or skip through. Like, skip through.
Yeah, like you said, you don't need to watch the tag team matches. Like, you don't need to see the Riot Squad, facing off against Ronda and the Bells. You don't need to see John Cena and Bobby Lashley versus, Elias and KO. Like, you don't need to see any of that stuff. It's just not important. Nothing of relevance is going to come out of that. But that's that. That's our first show here, the Wrestling Radar on Ram Nation Radio. Thanks for joining me, Nick. I look forward to next week. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in on Facebook Live and on the Ram Nation Radio app. We'll be back every single Wednesday from here on out, 5 to 6 p.m. right here. Don't miss us. And as always, follow us on Instagram and Twitter at the Wrestle Radar, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Got our latest vlog on there from All In. So.
Yeah, I got our All In vlogs, got many vlogs, and if all things go right, this will be up on YouTube. So hopefully you're watching us right now on YouTube. So
hopefully
if you are, thank you for watching, and make sure to watch every single week because we love doing this. We love professional wrestling, and we're not going to stop talking about it anytime soon.
No way. Each week we're going to deliver the latest news and rumors going on around the wrestling world. Thanks for tuning in, as always, everybody, and we will be back next week.
Yeah.